Good morning, my invited. Oh my gosh, wow. That's kind of bright as fuck right there. Jesus, everywhere is bright. So I made a few Instagram videos yesterday ranting about random shit. And then this morning, my wife was telling me that she had a tech of hers that used to do investments and stuff like that. And like 2-3 days ago, he goes, "Hey, take all of your stocks out of Tesla because they're gonna go down." Sure as shit, they went down. And what I found funny is that 6 days before that, I put up a YouTube video that says that Tesla makes no sense in marketing. And then suddenly Tesla drops a ton of points. This isn't the only time that something like this has happened. In Chile, in 2016, 17, 16, 17, 18. In 16 or in 17. No, I was about to leave. In 2018, I remember I was sitting there with my grandma at the table, at her coffee table, and just sitting there having tea and stuff like that. And then suddenly I see the news. And the news shows that a high school student had thrown a Molotov cocktail in front of an entire police patrol unit. Once that happened, obviously the police came into the school to try and find the child who did it. And then once that happened, every single child in that school attacked the police after the police were coming in just to find the one person. The kids were throwing, so obviously it was a quote and unquote potential riot situation because of the amount of police in comparison to the amount of people attacking them. So they threw out tear gas. Obviously, tear gas, if you're law enforcement or if you've been military trained to use tear gas, the way that we're taught is we're supposed to toss it onto the ground and either roll it or make it so it doesn't bounce very high onto the ground. And then it will just light up and just like smoke everybody out. Now, one of the police officers there in Chile that did that in this country capital did just that. Just rolled the can onto the ground, and I watched it on live TV, or not live. I watched it on the news that day because it happened that afternoon. This was like 6 or 7 in the afternoon. I watched the guy roll it onto the ground, and then a kid picked it up and threw it. The guy, one of the police officers, saw that the kid was throwing it, and he ducked. Thing went right over his head and smacked another kid in the face. That officer that ducked got fired the next day. Right after that, I told my grandma, "Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to leave Chile because I have a feeling a riot is about to happen and everyone is not happy." Sure as shit, about 6 months later, the entire country is rioting. The city of Roquan was burnt to the ground. Parts of Valparaiso were burnt to the ground. Viña del Mar, no one could drive anywhere because people were just throwing themselves in the middle of the street for no reason. Well, obviously there was a reason, because in the 1960s, Chile was communist. In 1961, they became capitalist. With someone named I forgot his first name, but his last name was Pinochet. Pinochet was one of the most hated Chilean officials ever by Chilean people. Now, the problem with that is he actually wasn't. He was an extremely cruel and brutal leader, yes, to people who essentially deserved it. He would hang people off of helicopters by their legs while they're dangling, and he would just fly around with them hanging. That's what Pinochet would do. And he was trying to keep people from being communists and turn into capitalists, but every single time someone would steal something from someone, he would do that. Obviously, it had to be more than just money or whatever, but it was that kind of graphic situation. After Chile became capitalist in 1961 or so like that, the living wages have never changed. Until the riots happened, the living wages did not change since 1961. When I was there, I was making only $500 a month, and that had to last me for my gas. That had to last me for my train tickets, for my grocery tickets, and even for like electricity bill and stuff like that. $500 a month. And everything keeps getting more expensive. That's why Chile started to riot. Sorry, I'm shaking because I'm hungry. And my arm is hurting me. But I don't know. This has been a trend my entire life, and I don't know who else to tell it to, so I'm just telling it to my invited group. I have that video up 6 days ago. Check it out. Me ranting about the marketing of Tesla. Right after that, Tesla dropped in stocks. A stupid amount. It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense to me why people don't listen to people who have insight. Even though they don't have credible insight. Like, for example, I don't have any certifications in, like, psychic powers and shit like that. But it's pretty easy to read people when everyone's doing the same thing and you paid attention in history class. That's all I'm saying.